welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. Now the next few videos are going to be very similar in theme. Very, very bright, summery, all of the happy feels, something that you look at that makes you smile. Now, I've made a ton of silicone inlays. This is a clip of what they were all looking like, but that video is going to be coming very soon, and I'll show you what I used, how I did it, but I'll also talk about something that happened that wasn't so great. Now, in this video, I'm going to be using all of the brightest summery colours that I could find in my stash. Now, these are liquid pastes. They are originally from Resin 8. Now, I know Resin 8 went into liquidation a very long time ago, so I'm not quite sure what you could replace them with, but if anyone knows a great place to get pastes, resin pastes, then definitely let us know in the comment section down below. Now, again, I've made a whole ton of silicone inlays. You don't have to do this to create this. You can just cast your pieces in the colors that you want. You don't have to go down the inlay route. For me, I just felt like it was long term easier to make the inlays than it was to actually cast my pieces. Now, the mold I'm using is this gorgeous large round tray mold from Moulds and Shapes, coming in at around 22.5 centimeters. Again, you can use any mold you have. It doesn't have to be a tray. It can be coasters. It can be absolutely anything. As long as your pieces fit, then it's fine. Now, first up, I knew I wanted to create the rim first. So this project definitely took a few days. It took 3 days to create this tray. However, if you pour early in the morning, you can get a second layer on that night. It's just I chose to do it over a 3-day period. So again, first up, I just want the rim of this tray to be a completely different color to the rest. And that is why I need to pour it first and put it to one side for 24 hours. The rim is going to be white. Now, the resin I'm using is the Apex resin from Just For You Online. The details are in the description box below. And the details for Moulds and Shapes alongside your 10% discount code is also down below. I don't have any codes for the colors that I'm using. I don't have any codes for those. Like Resin 8 are sadly no longer with us. And the khaki color that I'm using was from Just For You Online, I think. And again, they don't do colors anymore. So again, if you guys have got any recommendations for the perfect resin pastes and resin liquid pigments, then do let us know in the comment section. This white pigment, however, this is the liquid pigment from Vista. They are still going strong. You can head over to the Vista website where honestly, I love their liquid pigments, and they are my go-tos, especially their black and white. Stunning. So the rim is going to be white. Can we appreciate my steady hand? I just got one single little drip on this, and I just used a cotton bud and then a cocktail stick because I don't know how a hair got in there. Why is there so much debris? But yeah, a little cotton bud and a cocktail stick just to clean up the area. And then I'm just gonna run the cocktail stick in and around, or you could use your micro brushes, in and around those 90-degree edges of the tray. I want this lip to be crisp and clean and without a single air bubble inside. Because I am using a cocktail stick to do this, I'm going very gently. The one thing you don't want to do is put any pressure down whatsoever. You will scratch your silicone and it will be forever scarred. So that is it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna put it to one side and come back the next day to lay down the clear layer, and that's the layer that we'll be putting our inlays into. So again, this is the next day. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I have made these silicone inlays. You don't have to do that. You don't have to have silicone. You don't have to go down the route of making silicone inlays to do something like this. You can simply get the molds of your, like the molds that are your favorite molds, whether that is any kind of gothic or Christmas or Easter or botanical, any kind of mold that you like. And you can simply cast your pieces directly in the mold in the color of your choice. Doesn't have to be silicone inlays. For me, I just felt like if I make silicone inlays, I can use these 100 times over. with everything. So instead of just going down the route of making one single set of coloured casting pieces, it's just long term, I'll get more use out of the silicone inlays. So I've laid down a nice clear layer of resin, and I am using my heat gun to get this as clear as possible. Like, the Apex resin from Just For You Online is pretty incredible, guys. It's up there, okay? And it's crystal clear, but every now and again you'll just get one or two little bubbles. That's where heat comes in. So just using the heat gun gets it as crystal clear as possible. Now, the chances are that when you're laying down your fully casted piece or a silicone inlay, you are going to get air bubbles trapped underneath. The best you could do is maybe rub them with resin to try and diminish that, reduce the chance of getting air bubbles trapped down below. Now, again, you can use these silicone inlays so many ways. They are so versatile. You can use them with your eco pouring mediums, whether you've got aquacast or Resincrete or Jesmonite. You can lay these flat in your mould and pour your eco directly on top, and then you'll be able to peel them out when you demold, and you'll get a really beautiful tray with all of these beautiful embossed indentations of your favorite pieces. That's if you use the inlays. That's why I like the inlays. They're just so versatile. 100 different uses, and again, you don't have to have this mold. It could work with absolutely anything that you have. First up, I was just going to do a few pieces, and then I just really wanted to pack it out. I decided to put in as many as I could fit so that they weren't touching each other. I had a nice little gap in between, and then I just spent some time jigging them around, basically moving them until I was happy with the placement. Nothing looked, too out of place on there. Now, I said in this video I'm going with Summer Brights. I was seriously tempted to go neon. I went onto Amazon, and these Marblers neon powders, I've been eyeing them up for years, absolutely years. I've got the neon pink, yellow and green. They are coming in a video in the next couple of videos. You will see those being used, but stunning powders, and you get tons in a bag. They're from Amazon. I was tempted because they arrived just in time, and I was like, oh no, what do? Do I stick to the summer theme, or do I go neon? I stuck to the summer theme. But here I am just peeling out the inlays. So easy to peel them out. This is the next day, like it said on screen. I am going easy though. A lot of these inlays, like I've got like a fern inlay and another leaf inlay. Some of them have got really fine details on. If you can hear banging in the background, I am so sorry. I've got a carpenter here today doing some work for me up on the top floor in my craft room. So I'm really sorry if you can hear the banging. But yeah, peeling these out, just go easy. Go easy. There are some inlays that are super chunky, and there's really no fear of hurting them at all. But these ones here, they're quite delicate. Peel them out slowly. Make sure that you don't rip any of your inlays, and also making sure that none of the inlay got caught under the resin, because if that happens, then yes, you can rip chunks out of your inlays. This is what we're looking like. I mean, demold this right now, and you have got a stunning tray. Stunning. In fact, I might have to do that, I might actually have to do that. Demold it right now. You've got a crystal clear, but with beautiful matte embossed leaves. I mean, stunning. So next up, we're going Summer Brights. We are going Summer Brights. Do you know what happens when the sun comes out? I think we all feel it after we've had like a dismal, dark, dreary, rainy, miserable, grey winter. When the sun starts coming out, it just, honestly, it fills me with all of the colour. And I think, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. I really want to do something summery and bright and cheerful and colourful. That is where I really got this from. Now, I had a bag. This fully was inspired by a bag that I had in my early 20s. I think the brand was called Oakley. It looked like the kind of bag that you'd see in Padstow in Cornwall. Like you'd find it in surfer's paradise. It had a mixture of pinks and blues and khakis and white, and all of these colours go so beautifully together. I don't know, I just was feeling it. I was like, I wish I still had that bag. I might have to Google it and see if I can get one. I'm sure the brand was called Oakley. Let me know if anyone had that, like I'm talking 25 years ago. So yeah, if anyone remembers. Now, the khaki and the pink, blue and white, I just feel like they all work really well together. What I noticed is that the inlays aren't all necessarily the same depth. Well, they're not. You know, the middle of the leaves are chunky and the edges of the leaves are super fine and thin. And of course, you have to have a 100% level surface. Could I have done this on my leveling table? Yes. Did I think? No. I didn't think about it at the time. But actually, there's definitely an imbalance in the way that inlays have worked here. But you just have to be careful and tidy up as you go. So this is the next day. Thank you to my patrons. I went onto my Patreon page and I basically showed them what I was making, showed you all what I was making. And I said to my patrons, like, what colour background would you do? Would you stick to the summer bright theme? Like, would you go lime green, bright yellow, you know, or a variation of the colours that have already been used in the tray? Or would you go black for like dramatic effect? And I'm so happy that the majority of my patrons did not say go black, because deep down I was like, I just want to keep it so bright and colourful and lovely and summery. I always go with the majority of the responses that I get on my Patreon page from my patrons. And whilst one or two suggested several colours, like stunning colours, the majority said, I like the idea of yellow, or yes, I would go with yellow, or how about a yellow or bright yellow or a pale yellow? The majority said yellow. So I decided to just go for it. Guys, you never see these colours on my channel. Like, these are so bright for me. But the yellow is stunning. Again, this is an old Resin 8 paste. A thick paste for resin, and I have still got all of my Resin 8 colours that I bought 5 years ago, 6 years ago maybe. They're all still doing well, and I gave the pot a little bit of a stir. I added in a little bit of the Vista white pigment to make it more, I guess, more butter yellow than like bumblebee yellow. I just wanted it a little bit muted, a little bit quieter than the very loud yellow. I didn't quite make enough, so you saw me there top it up. Don't judge the back of my mould. I really need to clean the backs of my moulds, you know, they pick up all the rubbish from the table. But this is what we're looking like. I absolutely love it. It's just so smiley. It just makes me smile, and it makes me think, oh my gosh, summer is coming. But, should I say but? I don't want to say but. I'm always saying but. There's no buts. I just think it could have done with more. I think, you know, there's a lot of yellow, and the white was interesting to me. This is the depth. You can see the depth, the differences. The edges of the khaki leaves and the white leaves were really bordering on transparent. Whereas the pink and blue, solid, like they came out beautiful. But those leaves where there's a massive difference in the depth, the edges of the leaves were almost transparent, so maybe a bit more pigment to make them a lot more block opaque, maybe. But guys, I absolutely love this tray. It just reminds me of holiday. It reminds me of sun lotion. It reminds me of tropical. It reminds me of happy times, being relaxed in the sunshine. But does it need more? Would you do more? Let me know what you would do in the comment section down below. All of those yellow sections, I don't know, would you add something on the back? Should I have put in some temporary tattoos before I poured the yellow? Maybe. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you would do. Now, the edge, of course, as always, not always, but the majority of the time for me, I get that little bit of a crispy, sharp edge. So I'm just using my rotary, guys. My brain ain't braining. I'm using my deburring tool to carve off those sharp edges, and makes it absolutely crisp and beautiful and lovely and all of the things. Now, I have invested in these. This is a giant roll of foam stickers. I am making a conscious effort this year to finish each and every one of my pieces in the video to the point that I am putting the little cork feet on the pieces, and this is what they look like. I think they're gorgeous, and they're so sticky, super strong. They stick immediately, and this is done. I hope you love this one, and it brings a smile, a summery, fresh smile to your face the way it did mine. Let me know what colour combinations you would use, but also let me know, would you break up that yellow background, or do you think the yellow works? It's not too much yellow, it's not like overpowering. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you all so much. If you are still here, thank you so much for watching, especially if you've been in the live chat. You never know how long the video is going to be. I feel like I'm trapping you here. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.